sure. I mean, you can send anything down to Earth from space, and if you guide it with GPS or something else, you can do a lot of damage. Of course, neutron bombs are basically people killers, where the kind of bombs from space that we studied didn't need any explosive whatsoever. Just the impact of the heavy titanium-clad depleted uranium rods would, like a meteorite, do the damage without any explosive whatsoever.
And that's mainly a decapitation weapon, correct? That would be good for taking out world leaders?
World leaders and command bunkers and missile silos.
Incredible. Hour number 2 with Dr. Bob Bowman. Straight ahead, right here on the GCN Radio Network. Back in 70 seconds. Well, it's already the 4th and final hour. Thank you so much for joining us. Dr. Bob Bowman is our guest today, former head of the Star Wars program, 101 combat missions over Vietnam. He is a PhD in aeronautics and nuclear engineering. And we're always honored to have him. And we'll put his website up on screen for prisonplanet.tv viewers. For radio listeners, it is thepatriots.us. Thepatriots with an S.us. Linked up on Infowars.com and prisonplanet.com. Before we get back into Star Wars, we appreciate your time today and take some phone calls. You alluded to the fact that you believe we're winning. And I remember talking to you 6, 7, 8 years ago, and you were a little more pessimistic, if memory serves. Correct me if I'm wrong. But why do you say those that want liberty and freedom and peace are starting to win?
Well, and in that I include we 9/11 truthers, because they are demonizing us, they're attacking us, and it makes a world of difference. It's sort of like in my congressional race, and I'm sure you remember that one.
Yes.
And at first, the 7-term incumbent Republican tried to ignore me, and then they came out ridiculing me as a 9/11 truth wacko. And it was only in the end, when they got really scared, that they put out enormous amounts of money onto slick brochures attacking me on every conceivable front, and my name all over the place with them attacking me. And that was pure desperation. And of course, the exit polls seemed to indicate that I won that general election by 12 points. But the electronic touchscreen voting machines had it turned around. So, obviously, their own polls showed that they were behind, and so in their desperation, they attacked me. Well, the same thing is happening to us, patriots and 9/11 truthers today. They tried just ignoring us, and that worked for a while, but not for too long. And then they tried ridiculing us with all those hit pieces, National Geographic and Popular Mechanics and all that stuff. And that didn't shut us up. And we're starting to make headway into the mainstream media. And now they're just outright attacking us and saying that we are potential terrorists and that we ought to be gunned down or locked up.
And for those that have missed it,
we're winning.
Absolutely. For those that have missed it, they're really saying that now. I mean, we're the nonviolent, peaceful people exposing false flag terror that's been declassified in hundreds of cases, not just by our government, but others. And they're everywhere now saying that we want to assassinate Obama. I mean, Glenn Beck just pulls this out of the air. Then you have that very suspicious Pentagon event that happens after this crescendo of demonization.
Yeah. Well, the people who are accusing us of those kind of things, it's a matter of projection, because if there's anybody that wants those kind of actions taken, it's them, not us. And personally, I'm disappointed with Obama, but I would much rather have him in there than George W. Bush, and I would, in particular, Dick Cheney, and I'd much rather have him in there, frankly, than Joe Biden. So, no, I put my body on the line to protect Barack Obama, because he may not be doing what we need, but he at least hasn't done as bad as has been done in the past.
So you don't think he's completely mentally ill like Cheney? We'll be right back. Stay with us. Every day, sometimes multiple times daily, Newsweek, Time Magazine, London Guardian, New York Times write articles saying I'm calling for violence when all we've ever done is called for peace and nonviolence. PBS is here today. Nightline just called. They want to do an entire 8-minute profile on Alex Jones only. It is very creepy, because I never intended 14, 15 years ago when I started getting on air to have had this big of an effect and to have learned as much as I've learned. But it's a testament to all of you out there, what you can do if you take action. But I don't like to talk about myself, but I do get some concern and try to analyze this. Dr. Bob Bowman, what does it sound like to you that they're demonizing all of us now, claiming we're for violence, but specifically singling me out? I mean, you've been doing this longer than I have. Do you have any advice for me?
Well, I'd say to keep doing what you're doing and be just as public as you can, because the more in the public eye you are, the less they can do to you. The people who get picked off are usually the ones that very few people have heard of. And so I'd say just keep out there in the public eye and give them a black eye. Keep doing it, Alex. That's all I got to say.
But why are they coming after me so much? I mean, I guess it's
effective. You're effective. That's why.
You know, I committed to this just like you committed to telling the truth, and I've passed the point of no return a long time ago. But it is creepy to have the eye of the beast looking at you.
Oh yeah, yeah. You know, I'd like to talk about. We've talked a lot about the past. I'd like to talk a little bit about the present and the near future, because I'd like to talk about a little about our plans for how to take back the country and stop all this craziness.
Okay, we're going to do that, and we'll also have you back, because you're a treasure, Dr. Bob Bowman. But you know, the old saying, when you're over the target, you're getting the flak, like when you had SAM missiles getting shot at you in Vietnam. But while we've got you picking your brain, we talked during a break about CERN. If you think it's a danger, you gave me your answer. We also talked about, and you said you were aware of it, that the Air Force has talked about they're trying to develop antimatter weapons. I mean, isn't that dangerous? I mean, even the testing of those. Talk about CERN versus antimatter weapons.
Okay, well, CERN, the equivalent of Brookhaven cyclotron in the corner of Switzerland and France there, the European version. CERN, I've been there. I've been through it and looked at their operations. I don't see anything nefarious about it. Scientific knowledge can always be used for good or evil, and all too often evil, and they're producing new scientific knowledge. They're also playing around a little bit with the collisions between matter and antimatter, and that theoretically can put out an awful lot of energy. And it is dangerous, and the experiments have to be extremely carefully controlled. Now, as far as taking antimatter and weaponizing it, I have never heard of any effort which has been anywhere near successful in making weapons out of this stuff. It's too hard to produce, too hard to contain. I don't see anything of that kind in the foreseeable future.
But it is dangerous from the physicists I've read, mainline physicists, that the Pentagon admits they are playing with it and trying to isolate it. I mean, couldn't that create potentially some type of chain reaction?
Yes, it is dangerous, and there are a lot of things that are going on that are dangerous that I have been opposed to from the beginning, like HAARP up in Alaska. And I've been up there to that facility. I think it's extremely dangerous to dump huge amounts of money, of energy. It's money to the people who sell them the gas that they're turning into energy. Dumping all that energy into the stratosphere is extremely dangerous.